Hello, everyone online. We are here, but we have some, I'll call them technical difficulties, and so we'll be starting soon.
Morning, how you doing, Harry?
Pretty good.
All right. You know, since I was going to bring it, I forgot to bring it.
Yeah.
You know, on 1957, she always had draft. I was in the army. My mother gave me one story. It says, not one of those. She says, you keep this with you all the time. So I was going to Europe. She was really worried. I guess
Namandab, 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 namandab. Okay, good morning, everyone. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers here. Thank you for your patience and welcome to our Dharma family service. We'd like to begin service with chanting of Juseige. And so Juseige is on page 23 in the small purple book, page 93 in the large purple book. Namandab, 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 namandab. Gagon segan hishimu jodo shigan fumanzok seifu joshogak gaomuryoko Fui dai seshu, fusai shobingu, seifu joshogak, gashi jobutsudo, myosho chojippo, Kukyomi Shomon Seifu Joshogak Ryokujin Shonen Joeshu Bongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Tenninshi Jinniki and Daiko Fushomu Saido Shoujo Sankumyo Kosai Shuyakunan Kaihichi egen Meshi konmoan Heisoku sho akudo Tsudatsu zen shumon Koso jo manzok Iyoro jippo Nichigatsu shujuki Tenko onpugen Ishukai hozo Koseku dokuho Jodai shuchu Seppo shishiku Kuyoi saibutsu Gusoku shutoku hon Ganne shitsujoman Tokui sangayo Nyobutsu mugechi Tsudatsu mifusho Gangaku erik Toshi saisho son Shiganya koka Daisen okando Kokusho tennin To Jinmyo Ke Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay, next let's recite the three treasures. And the three treasures is in the small book on page 3. The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Okay, next let's sing a Gatha. And we're going to sing a Gatha we haven't sang in a while. And I hope it's in your book. So you're going to need the small purple book. We're going to sing Hotoke Sama in English. Yeah. So the original one is all Japanese. But there's an insert in the book, so page 55, and we'll sing the insert version. Oh, hold on, I got to put it on the screen. Oh, where is it? Yeah, make sure everyone has it. And then, oh, there it is. Okay. And then, I'm going to share it for the people at home, too. There we go. Dear Amida Buddha, who embraces me, like my mother, whom I love, always strong and wise. I want to be held by you, Hotoke-sama. No, 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 sama, Hotoke-sama. When I'm happy, you are too, smiling at me. When I'm lonely, you are too, calling out to me. You and I are always one, Hotoke-sama. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Okay, thank you very much. And so now, I'd like to deliver the Dharma message. There we go. Happy Mother's Day again. Someone came in late, so happy Mother's Day. Thank you very much for joining us for our Mother's Day Dharma family service. Things have changed a lot since the pandemic. Before the pandemic, we used to, have a 2-day bazaar, which always took place on Father's Day weekend. And so I think because of that, we actually called it Parents' Day for a long time. Right? And so on Mother's Day, we celebrated Parents' Day, knowing that all the fathers at BCO would not have a non-work day on Father's Day. They had to work really hard, right? And we had a Parents' Day breakfast that Junior Y would put on, right? And so this would be a really crowded service. But fortunately, we're able to do our Mother's Day service, and so I really appreciate you being here. So one thing I kind of have is, when I first wrote Mother's Day for something, I did it Mother S apostrophe, right? Mother S apostrophe, because plural possessive, right? And it would seem like Mother's Day would be the day for all mothers, but it's not. Apparently, it's Mother's Day, Mother apostrophe S, singular. Okay, so I think that's really interesting. So to me, the plural possessive, right, Mother S apostrophe makes a lot of sense, in the sense that I can wish all of you mothers, right, a happy Mother's Day, right? And so not only my mother, but all mothers. But our American Mother's Day was founded in the early 20th century. I think around 1907, or I think around 1911 is when all the states started celebrating it. And it was founded by someone named Anna Jarvis. Okay, and she founded this idea of Mother's Day, and her idea was that it's not about all mothers, it should be you celebrating your own mother. Families and individuals celebrating their mothers, so that hence the singular possessive, right, not the plural possessive. So to me, I'm okay with either. I'm going to go with Anna Jarvis because she sounds kind of cool. She worked really hard to get Mother's Day as a holiday, or not, it's not a holiday, but as a special day in the United States at a time when women, I think, were still discriminated against much more than they are now. So I think it was probably an uphill battle, but she did it. I think we've probably seen, I think we could say Mother's Day has been commercialized, right? And so, you think, well, when would that be? Maybe the 60s, like Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown is a cartoon that Linus is upset, or actually Charlie Brown, right, is upset about the commercialization of Christmas. So how about, when did this commercialization start? Sounds like it started in the 1910s, 1920s. And Anna Jarvis would get really upset at how it was commercialized, even back then, right? 100 years ago, and it was already being commercialized. Hallmark cards, people using the holiday as an excuse to sell stuff, right? And so I think that's really interesting. She even protested sometimes and got arrested, I think, for protesting Mother's Day, the commercialization of Mother's Day. So she's kind of cool to me. So I'll go with her singular possessive for Mother's Day. I'll stick with that because, a lot of this behind it. In a Buddhist sense, there's something really amazing that I've talked about, but maybe not so much recently. And to me, mothers are held up as an ideal way to be in Buddhism. And it's called the Four Immeasurable Minds. Or that's one of the names for it. It's also called the Brahma Viharas, but the Four Immeasurable Minds as ways that a Buddha is, and also maybe ways that we as Buddhists can cultivate for ourselves. And so there's four. The first one is Maitri, and that's, or Metta. Actually, maybe you might know Metta better. That's the Pali. The Sanskrit is Maitri. Okay, and that's kindness, friendliness, loving kindness. The second one, Karuna, is compassion. The third one, Mudita, is sympathetic joy. And the fourth one, Upeksha, is equanimity. Okay, and so you might be wondering, well, where is the role of the mother in all this? And the metaphor is the kindness or friendliness, Maitri, is like the love of a mother for her child. The compassion, the Karuna, is like the love of a mother for her sick child. Okay, so that Maitri and Karuna together are Jihi. I'll talk a little more about that later, right? But Jihi is a term we often use for compassion, but it's actually kindness, friendliness, and compassion, right? And one is like, so we should cultivate that towards others, towards all beings, right? That it's the way a mother feels for her child is the way we should be friendly to others and kind to others. The way a mother feels for her sick child, seeing people suffering, right, is compassion, right? That we're encouraged that this is kind of like an ideal in our tradition, in Buddhism. The sympathetic joy likened to a mother's feelings toward a child's success. And I noticed in this version of Hotoke-sama, when I'm happy, you are too, smiling at me, right? And that's talking to Buddha, but also with this idea of it's like a mother, right? When her child is happy, she's happy. And then the equanimity is kind of cool too, calm balance with regard to the sufferings and pleasures of beings, likened to the attitude of a mother towards her child who's busy with its own affairs. So that's kind of a long one, but you know, the sympathetic joy isn't like, wow, you did great. I remember sitting in the kitchen when I was a little kid playing with blocks. And I'm sure my mom was happy that I was happy playing with my blocks. But she didn't have to be like, that's great, you just built the most amazing block building I've ever seen, right? No, calm, equanimity, right? The attitude of a mother towards her child busy with its own affairs. I'm doing blocks, she's making breakfast or whatever, right? But I think that the first two, Maitri or Metta and Karuna, right? Kindness, friendliness, and compassion. Those are maybe the two main ones, right, that we can think about on Mother's Day. I've been thinking about unconditional love too, right? And I think that's maybe another way to think of the love that Buddha has for beings, right? And especially in Jodo Shinshu, right? Conditional love would be, I have to be a certain way in order to be accepted by Buddha. But no, Buddha accepts me as I am. Buddha accepts you as you are. Sono mama. And so even foolish beings such as myself, right, make lots of mistakes, and yet Buddha still embraces me just like that. Feeling that embrace, I'm transformed, right? I think when we truly feel that embrace of the Buddha, that we, maybe I'm able to see my mistakes. I'm able to see myself more as I am, and maybe be able to see more how I would like to be, too. So, you know, I was kind of wondering, isn't this kind of impossible ideal, right? To be like this? Maybe not all mothers are like this. I was thinking just about my own mother, and I didn't have the greatest relationship with my mother. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. I think she had a lot of high hopes for me. And I remember when I was in college, she said to me once, Harry, when we were in Germany when I was in first grade, right? And I did all the homework at home, not on like a regular school basis, but on a like whenever we felt like doing it basis. So I came back, and apparently my mom said, "You took this exam when we got back from Germany. You tested genius level. What happened?" I still remember her saying that, like those exact words, right? And I found that exam years later, and I was like, wow, I'm like 98th, 99th percentile in like everything, right? And then by the time I'm in my senior year of high school, I'm getting like D's and F's, right? That I just couldn't, I just had real trouble with school. And so that, it didn't feel good when my mom said that. I can laugh now, right? And yet, I've learned since then, there was so much more than just me being a screw-up, right? So many causes and conditions. I spoke last week about this karmic nexus idea, right? That where I am is due to all these causes and conditions, right? And I can look back at my life and see various times when those causes and conditions were in play. But thinking back now, my mom has been gone 25 years, and I see things in a different light, right? I don't see it as, why couldn't she be nicer to me, or why didn't she do this, or why did she do that, right? I don't see it that way anymore. If I even really ever did, it's more, wow, she was pretty amazing, right? Becoming a nurse, marrying this American guy and going off to the United States. She became an American citizen before I was born, right? So she took that exam. It's not easy, right, to become a naturalized U.S. citizen. I'm just amazed. And they got married in 1968, and I was born in 1970. She became a U.S. citizen in that short amount of time. Right? And so looking back with my eyes now and thinking about my mom is different, so different than how I felt when I was a kid, or at different points in my life. Right? I want to talk a little bit about Amida Buddha. I've been doing it a little bit, right? But one way I think that Amida is referred to is as Oya-sama, right? Oya-sama. And that Oya-sama means parents or parent, and is gender neutral, right? So you can say Oya-sama and mean my mother and father. And you could also say Oya-sama and think mother or father. Oya-koko, right? When the child does what the parent does, right? And they really, so we say that about my cat, right? Oya-koko, right? They're like father, like son or whatever, daughter in my case, right? With Misty. But this idea of Oya could be, and presumably if you have two moms, Oya-sama, right? That it's gender neutral. And so that's kind of cool, I think, right? Pointing to maybe Amida Buddha as beyond gender. The statue is gendered. It's got a mustache, male form, right? And yet we have these kind of clues in Buddhism of something more than that. Because there's also a poem by Shinran Shonin. I'll read the Japanese first. It's a 4-line poem, one of the wasans. Shaka mida wa jihi no shuju ni zengo hoben shi. Warera bumo, I messed it up in here. Warera bumo ga mujo no shinji no hokki seshime tamai keri. I'm sorry, people online, I kind of messed that up. The English is, Shakyamuni and Amida are our compassionate father and our mother. Guiding us through various skillful means, they awaken in us the supreme Shinjin. Okay, so here is Shinran saying, Shakyamuni and Amida are our compassionate father and mother. Okay, and he uses the term bumo, jihi no bumo. So that jihi, remember, is the kindness and compassion. Okay? No bumo. Bu is chichi or father, and then mo is haha or mother. So jihi no bumo, father and mother of compassion, or compassionate father and mother. Right? So, but you're still kind of like, okay, Shakyamuni, Amida, father and mother, is it like Oya-sama? Is it just kind of beyond gender? But Shinran has a note, and this isn't in collected works of Shinran. The translation we have, it doesn't give these side notes. It only gives the main poem. But if you look at the Japanese text, actually Shinran has a note on the side, and it's written all in katakana. Shaka wa chichi nari, mida wa haha nari, to tamae tamaeri. Tatoe tamae. Shaka wa chichi nari. So that chichi is father. So Shakyamuni is like a father. Mida wa haha nari. Amida is mother. So Shinran specifically, explicitly states, Amida is like mother. Shakyamuni is like our father, Amida is like our mother. I just find it mind-blowing, right? Maybe not to you, maybe you're like, okay, whatever. Traditionally in Buddhism, Buddhas are always male. Okay, that's part of the kind of gender dynamics of Buddhist history, right? And this idea that only a man can become Buddha is a really strong current. But Pure Land Buddhism, women can be born in the Pure Land. One of the Chinese masters says, if anyone tells you a woman can't be born in the Pure Land, it's all lies. He's like really strong about it. No, everyone can be born in the Pure Land regardless of gender. And, wow, Amida is like a mother, right? Amida is our mother. And so, to me, like explicitly calling Amida mother is just this incredible move of Shinran. Right? I think his parents died early, or he was separated from them early. Right? He becomes a monk at age 9. It's not known. I think there's ideas that maybe his father was still alive, but had to leave. They lost their position at court or whatever the social status they had, and Shinran had to go off at age 9 to become a monk. Right? I don't think we know when his mother passed, and yet I feel like from this, and also from his relationship with Eshinni, his wife, and they had children, right? And so this identifying Amida with mother, his wife Eshinni as Avalokiteshvara, as Kannon, right? This recognition by Shinran of the importance of mothers, right? And it ties in perfectly with those 4 immeasurable minds. This ideas of our ideals, our values as Buddhists. What's going on? How can hate become a main ideal of our country, right? Our country is not supposed to be about that, right? I feel like our values as Buddhists tie into what I think are the ideals of what America should be about. Our history doesn't play out all the time, right? But let's not fall back into that stuff, right? We can move forwards, and I feel like as Buddhists, we're right in line with it, with kindness, compassion, right? With women equal to men, right? And that these ideals we can think about on Mother's Day as we honor our mothers, whether our own mothers here or passed away, right? Or all mothers in general, I think. And so, this our statue of Amida Buddha, it's kind of hard to see from where you are, but he has the mustache, right? And I think it's pretty clearly he, right, male. But it said that Shinran he preferred Namo Amida Butsu, the name Namo Amida Butsu, written in Chinese characters. He preferred that as the object of worship. Right? And that he preferred a painted Buddha over the statue of Buddha. And there's different thoughts on why. Some of it might be it's harder for people to get a carved statue, right? And so if you can just have someone paint one for you, maybe that's easier for people to have. But especially maybe Namo Amida Butsu. Right? Ultimately, Buddha is beyond this male or female, beyond this form, beyond the distinctions that we make. Right? And yet also identified with motherhood, right? And identified with those values, those 4 immeasurable minds, and especially that kindness. But that's where loving kindness works, because it's like the love of a mother for her child, right? So loving kindness, you might even hear that just out in the world, right? But it's a technical term, metta, maitri, right? It's a technical term in Buddhism, and a value of a state of mind, an action that we can cultivate. Even if we fail, we still aim for that, right? And then karuna, compassion, right? Great compassion of the Buddha. So thank you very much. Why don't we conclude the Dharma talk? Wish all the mothers, once again, happy Mother's Day, and thinking about the ideals of motherhood as ideals for us as well as Buddhists. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. So I'm thinking announcements and then Ondokusan after. So I'm going to turn it over to Robert for announcements.
Thank you, Sensei. Good morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. here at the temple as well as online. Good morning, my name is Robert, and I have a few announcements. First, I want to thank Reverend Bridge for officiating and his Dharma talk for today's service, Reverend Michael Endo for assisting, Steve Terasaki for playing the organ, and our host number 4 group downstairs providing hospitality for all of us here at the temple today. Next Sunday is our Gotanye and Fujimatsuri service. That's Shinran Shonin's birthday. So we'll be here for a 10 o'clock service. We also have a guest speaker, Mushimi Keda, will be here to speak. And then we'll have a Hotoke luncheon afterwards, so you're welcome to come to service and then stay for lunch afterwards. Let's see, next week is also one of our sister temples, the Berkeley Buddhist Temple, is they're having their annual bazaar, their Satsuki Bazaar, next Sunday, the 18th, from 11:30 to 5:30. So that's on Chanting over in Berkeley. Of course, our own bazaar will be on Saturdays, June 14th, from 12 noon to 6 p.m. We do need help. If you're available to come help on Friday the 13th or Saturday the 14th, we'd really appreciate it. So say something to someone in the office or talk to John Takagaki about that. We also have raffle tickets. The blue raffle tickets have been distributed out to the members, and they're for sale. So you can get that from any member or from the church office. Those are all the announcements I have. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to Peggy Takahashi, who will say something about the 125th anniversary of the Buddhist Church of Oakland. So, Peggy?
Thank you, Robert, and happy Mother's Day again to all the mothers out there. We recently sent out, at the end of April, a survey, and there might be some confusion with people thinking this was a repeat of the survey that we sent out last fall. This survey is really an RSVP to the banquet that we will hold on October 17th, 2026. We really need an accurate head count in order to determine a location appropriate to the number of people who will attend the October 17th luncheon celebration. So please, please, please complete that survey. We'll hold it open until the end of the month, but we really do need an accurate number of people who will be attending. So, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So let's sing Ondokusan II. It's on page 76 in the small book and page 220 in the large purple book. Namandam, 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 namandam. Okay, thank you. I think this will conclude our service. But I've a few more words that I'd like to say. We have heard a song called Golden by Miharu Okamura, and I have it on my desk, and so I saw these words. So I'd like to close our service with these words from her song Golden. So please join me in Gassho as we conclude our service. Tell your mother she is special. Give your father loving too. Your chosen family is waiting. Feel the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Okay, thank you. And you can thank you everyone online. And if you haven't had a chance to do Oshoko yet, you can do so now.